Hi everybody.
Becky.
I wanted to go over a couple ways of eating lunch specifically for different types of athletes. I have two options right here, and my two athletes that I'm going to talk about are a recreational athlete and someone who's kind of a competitive CrossFit athlete. When I define recreational athlete, I mean somebody who is taking like a 1-hour CrossFit group class a couple times a week, or might go to LA Fitness and lift and do a little bit of cardio afterwards. This is somebody who isn't in the gym more than 60 to 90 minutes at a time, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. And then our CrossFit athlete is someone who's competitive. They get through the open. Quarterfinals is a given. They are probably in the gym 2 to 3 hours. They do a lot of lifting. They do a lot of CrossFit in every session. They have active recovery days. They're probably in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. So our first option here, this is a recreational athlete. I kind of modeled this after what I eat. I consider myself a recreational athlete, and this is what a typical lunch looks for me. I usually eat 4 meals a day, so both of these options, you want to multiply that by 4. That's what you're eating throughout the day, basically, maybe with a couple snacks. Also, this is for somebody who is my size. If you're bigger, these portions would be bigger. If you're smaller, these portions would be smaller. I want to start out with some similarities. So, kind of the container size is pretty similar. You know, I could open up this pouch and squeeze this in here, put the graham crackers in here. The container size of food is pretty similar. Again, you're going to multiply this by 4, and that's what you're eating throughout the day. And then also, the protein is similar. It's ground turkey in both, and also the amount of protein is the same. So when you think about protein throughout the day, I like to just divide it out evenly in every meal. And whether you are a recreational athlete or a CrossFit athlete, the amount of protein that you need doesn't really change. There's a range with every macro that you have, but for the most part, protein is going to be the same no matter your activity level. Now we'll get to the differences. In our recreational athlete bowl, I have a little bit of a glob of guacamole in there just for some added fats. That is one that I also like to kind of distribute throughout the day for a recreational athlete. When we think about fat, we want to make sure that it's not too close to an intense training session because that will kind of slow down your digestion. So for our CrossFit athlete, I'm thinking if this is maybe like their first real meal after they've trained in their morning session, they're not going to have a lot of fat in it. So pretty much the fat is just from the ground turkey. The bigger difference that you guys can probably just see by looking at is the amount of carbs and the type of carbs. In the recreational athlete bowl, this is mashed up cauliflower. It's one of my favorite things to include because it's lower carb, lower calorie, but big volume. And then also I have some broccoli slaw in here. It's just broccoli and carrots cut up. I like to include some colorful things in my plate so that you're also getting, vitamins and minerals. We have some colorful things over here too, the sweet potato, and then obviously the applesauce has some strawberries and the applesauce is yellow. But here we want to think about a lot of variety. We can not worry so much about fat or fiber content because, again, both of those things will slow down your digestion, which is stuff that we don't want over here. We want to make sure that carbs are kind of fast energy for that athlete to help with recovery and to help fuel their next session. So when we move over to here, we have our sweet potatoes. This amount is a lot more than this cauliflower. And then also some added stuff. I like to do applesauce pouches because they're really easy to eat. You don't really have to chew them, so it's not as much of a strain on your digestive system. And then also some graham crackers. This is another easy one that you can kind of eat a lot of. And when you think about the amount of carbs in this little square of graham cracker versus over here with this entire bowl of food, there's a lot more quick energy over here. At the beginning, I kind of mentioned the size is kind of close, kind of similar, but the calories in here are about 500. Calories over here are about 675. But the kind of volume of food that you're eating is pretty similar. It's a little bit more over here. But when you think about somebody who's CrossFitting and who spends a lot of time at the gym, you want stuff that doesn't take up a lot of space in your stomach because you have to eat a lot of calories. And it's really hard to eat the amount of calories we have here in this kind of bowl every day throughout the day. So when you think about the amount of activity that you're doing and the choices that you make with your food, You want to think about how much fuel do I need for training, but also how am I going to feel after I eat that food? Am I going to be a little bit hungry still? And if so, you want to choose these, I call them like higher volume foods that will take up a lot of space in your stomach and leave you satisfied, leave you feeling full longer. But if you're somebody who is in the gym a lot but needs a lot of food, you have to pick food that will kind of like digest quickly and that are easy to eat so that you can get the amount of calories that you need throughout the day. And then building on this, say you're semis level or games level athlete, you need even more food. You're in the gym even longer. An easy way to kind of add even more stuff, I like to do carbs. Carbs are quick energy. We just kind of stick in just like an oatmeal packet. This has some added protein in it, but this is another 200 calories of food, and most of it's carbs. It's quick digesting. It's pretty easy to make and eat, and it tastes good. So hopefully you guys can kind of see the differences here. There's definitely some similarities that everybody needs to think about when they're building their meals, regardless of activity level. But the biggest points that I want you guys to think about and take away from this are food choices, quantity, and quality, and how that makes you feel throughout the day.